let's start with a simple question. Why did I make the channel? Well, to answer that, we have to go way, way back to when I was really little. It's no secret that gaming has always been a huge passion of mine for as long as I can remember. I know when, um, in my toddler years, I remember being told all the time how, like when something was on the TV, or if someone else was playing a game and they like leave the station alone for a little bit, and I would just like move towards the controller and pretend I was playing the game as as the demo video was playing. Eventually, I would be able to experience that myself. I mean, the first console that I had to my name was a Sega Genesis, and it was around that time when the system and a bunch of those games were being discontinued. So it ended up just being a very generous birthday that year, I guess you could say. And it was around that time I just really enjoyed it. It was a very um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a just one of those hobbies that just kind of something that I could really continue to build on and just really get a lot out of, you know. And it eventually got to a point with where I asked myself, like, what's more, where I really started to question it. So and keep in mind, around this time the internet was still pretty new. Like I remember my parents were still kind of learning a lot with their old computer and whatnot. But I remember once in a while being able to watch a video, or look up a walkthrough, that kind of thing. And I remember asking so many times to print out that stuff. In fact, I still have a few of the old documents from way back in the day for games like there was a Hamtaro game on the Game Boy, and Crash Bandicoot 2, where um, where it was just sheets of like hints and yeah, that kind of thing. Sorry if I stutter like that. I'm just kind of rambling on here, but I figure it's the easiest way to do this and this kinds of thing. Is I do have like a template that I'm following as I talk here, but I'll try not to deviate from it too much. So so that kind of went on for a few years. I remember even my one friend Matthew, Logic Soldier as he's known on YouTube, he even gifted me a little sheet of like Mega Man Battle Network chip codes. They input into Numberman Shop in the game, to because we would we would link up and battle each other all the time in that game. So whenever we weren't playing Pokemon, it was usually either Battle Network or Smash Brothers. So eventually, I stumble up one of us. Either I did or he did. I can't remember which exactly. It might have been him. He tells me about this site called YouTube, and I remember at the time we were just just kind of goofing off, just watching whatever garbage we could find at the time. And I remember one day he tells me, "Hey, there's video of Kingdom Hearts 2 uh, on here that we could check out while we wait for for the game to release." And it was pretty exciting. And then I remember just browsing on my own and looking at videos of other games that I played that there wasn't really a whole lot of info on. Those games being Sonic Adventure 2, specifically Chow Garden stuff, and also Digimon World 2 for the PlayStation. Which, by the way, I remember getting the game like pretty much brand new at the time, and playing it here and there. Never really got very far because, to be frank, the game is not beginner friendly at all and doesn't explain much. Eventually, though, I think it was in fifth grade. I found either no, I think I found the listing for it on eBay for the official pre-game strategy guide for that game. Excuse me. And I asked my mom to buy it for me, and she said yes, thank you very much, mom, for that. So it arrives in the mail. I read through it. This thing was like gospel for me during that time. And and one summer I just it was either that year or maybe the following year, whichever. eventually do finish the game, and I'm like, hey, this is awesome. What's more to it? And I find these videos on the internet, and they're showing off the extra stuff, and I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. And then I decided I want to get involved, and so I make an account. I chat with some of the other users on there. Uh, and it got to be summer of 2007. I saved up as much allowance as I could to get my very first camera, and it was a really cheap one too from Walmart. I think I'll show it on the screen here. It I mean, super basic. The quality wasn't very good. In fact, all those like a lot of those early videos, I ended up privating some of them because for one reason or another. But you can still watch some of those early videos on the channel if you, I mean, if you look for them. Like, it was not great, but for the time, there wasn't really a whole lot to work with. At least with my budget. I mean, I was still in middle school at the time I started this, so excuse me. When when I started making these videos, it was mostly just like, hey, I can do this too. So I looked up the Chow information on chowisland.hippotank, the one and only, and I decided, hey, let's. I was talking it over with one of my other old friends, Vampy bassist, formerly known as Cyborg, and we were over at his house the one night for a sleepover, and we're just goofing around. I do the very first Chow video there, and then I get home the next night and decided, okay, what if I take it a step further? So I boot up Kingdom Hearts 2 and do some of the boss battles on there, as well as other early boss battles for games that I enjoyed, being Final Fantasy X, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, um, and the rest just went on from there. I mean, I was making videos like whenever I had basically whenever I had the free time, whenever I wasn't swamped with homework, and it wasn't I kind of branched out a tiny bit. It wasn't like it wasn't anything huge. I mean Brawl was coming out the following year, and I did some stuff for that, like a little bit of Melee, a little bit of 64, just goofing around. I did a few of the Digimon videos on my own for World 2, some Tales of Legendia, um, because my other old friend Richard, known as he used to go by Z Guy 2 on YouTube. Unfortunately, he doesn't do YouTube anymore, but I'll give want to at least give a shout out or mention to him because he was a very definitely made an impact on my YouTube career. If to put it, if you could, I mean, he was basically one of the first friends I made on the website, and he helped out with a lot. We had our I mean, we had our spews and spats like any I feel like a lot of friends do, but he was really cool. And yeah, he actually got me into the Tales series, Persona, that kind of thing. So we ended up sharing ideas and all that stuff, and we had a lot of fun on there. So I played a little bit of that game. I also played a little bit of Bleach Shattered Blade, if you can believe it. There are some videos on there. They're really nothing special. It's just me fighting the computer, but they are there for for your enjoyment. And yeah, that was the very first chapter of um, of the channel. Like it was really just a little thing to do with my friends, and then eventually uh, grew a bit. Like I started making friends with other random people on the internet. Like that was like one thing led to another. Uh, getting to know Ace and Jin. I'll put links to their channels in the description as well. And I'm losing my track of thought. I am so sorry, but like starting up those friendships and getting to know one another, and then that would kind of just pave the way to the next chapter. And what would go there? I am drawing a really big blank, but Yeah, something else I found in in my documents was also little, like, even back then I still managed to keep little notes and such for when I was playing. This was before I got my own personal computer. Like, I remember having to when I started, I was sharing the home computer with my parents, and they decided that year that since I was on it so much, they're like, okay, we should really we should probably do something about this, make it a little more convenient for everyone. And it was the following Christmas, I believe, when I got my laptop, and I was able to make the videos on there, upload them from there, and browse the internet there. And yeah, just using like Word and other little programs to keep my notes tidy. I remember having little little other little scraps of paper just you know on my in my entertainment center, and I used them for playing. Like I'll show this one here for Chow Garden stuff. I used a checklist for animals and whatnot, and it's actually really funny looking at it now because I definitely remember writing it back then, but I could not tell you what exactly my thought process was when we when Matthew and I did these kinds of things as kids. But it was definitely a joy looking at that again, and something that I really hope I can continue experiencing as I do these uh, vlogs, rambles, whatever you want to call it, during the looking back series. And it's just going to be yeah, it's going to be kind of an eye opener just to see, like, wow, this really happened back then, and how much from that did I learn, and what can I carry over and continue to this day.